Hello everyone and welcome. I've done reviews of security cameras with mounted LED lights in the past, but I've never tested a floodlight security camera. In these days where burglars and intruders have become much more brazen, I was curious as to how effective a floodlight security camera would be. Is the added lighting bright enough to scare away an intruder, or is it just the same as a regular security camera with normal LED lights? Well, the only way to know for sure is to test out a floodlight security camera and see how much of a difference it really makes. Now, I do these reviews so you don't have to. So this time, I decided to get a floodlight security camera to test and see how much of a security difference you get from having much brighter floodlights and a loud siren. So if you've been considering getting a security camera, stick around as I test this floodlight security camera to see just how much brightness the floodlights can really offer. Alright guys, so when you unbox this puppy, this is everything you get. So let's talk a little bit about some of the features that this guy has. But before we get started testing this guy, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. That way you get notified every time I do another product review video, DIY project, or a sale at a big box store where I can help you guys save more money. Alright then, so this is the 3-light floodlight security camera from Lumens, available on Amazon, link in description below. At the time of making this video, this kit retails for $169.99, but they also have a $20 discount coupon on the Amazon page, making it even cheaper than that. So what do you get when you unbox this guy? Well, you get the light itself, you get the security camera with the built-in lights. It's all one big unit. You get the owner's manual. It tells you everything about this guy, how to set it up and use it and all that. You get a big bag of mounting hardware, so it make it easier for you to mount it no matter where you want to. And you get a sticker to tell the world that you actually have security cameras monitoring your area. The warranty on this guy is 1 year, and the dimensions on this guy are 7 inches in height, 5 inches in width for the camera itself. I didn't bother to measure the lights because they are adjustable, so they're going to change around to whatever you want, and about 8 inches in thickness from the front of the camera all the way back to the wall. And this guy weighs about 3 pounds, so it's not too bad. Now this is a wired security camera that works on your standard household power, not battery operated, so it has to be plugged in or hardwired in for it to work properly. This camera can be mounted a couple of different ways. It can either be wall mounted or ceiling mounted, like under the eaves of your house, for example. So most people, if you already have floodlights, this camera can be mounted in the same place as your floodlights using the existing wiring. So just put this in the place of that and you'll be ready to go. And this camera and light kit is IP65 all weatherproof, so that means it'll hold up to heat, dust, rain, sleet, snow, anything you throw at it, it'll be just fine. This camera has a dual lens configuration, giving you 180 degrees of panoramic video coverage. This camera records in 2K 4MP Ultra HD video, so you should have very clear video to see whatever is happening. The video from this camera can be stored for free locally using a standard SD card that can record up to 256 gigabytes of footage, or you can pay for cloud service if you want to go that route. Now, 256 gigabytes, that is a lot of footage, and that'll store footage for a week or two at least of whatever is going on. This camera has full color night vision when using the floodlights and infrared night vision when no lights are available. Either way, it can clearly see any intruder. This camera has a very loud 110 decibel siren to scare away any intruders, plus it also has two-way audio, so you can talk to whoever's on the other side of the camera, like a delivery person, a visitor, etc. This camera has PIR human detection to reduce false positives, and the PIR detection can work up to 40 feet away from the camera. The sensitivity of the PIR can also be adjusted in the menu. Now the biggest feature of this camera is of course the floodlights. And this camera has 3 adjustable floodlights that can be aimed in different directions, giving you up to 270 degrees of light coverage. Now these super bright 3000 lumens LED floodlights can light up an area up to 66 feet away from the camera, and the brightness and the color temperature of these lights can be adjusted in the menu. Now the lighting on this camera has 3 different modes to choose from. It has motion activated, where they turn on when they sense motion and they turn off again after the motion stops. It has intruder mode, which is also motion activated, but it also has a strobe effect for greater deterrence. And it also has timer mode where you can have the lights go on and off at a certain preset time that you select. For example, if you want extra lighting whenever you get home from work or something like that, this can be very convenient and will light up everything for you. So this camera has excellent video quality and coverage that you can store for free locally, or you can pay for cloud coverage if you choose to do that for greater security. It also offers 3 very bright floodlights to scare away any intruder and a super loud siren for added security. So is this security camera better than a regular security camera? Let's hook this guy up and find out, but first let's take a little closer look at it. Alright guys, so let's take a little closer look at this camera light kit here and get a little more acquainted with it, see all the different features that it has and so forth, and go from there. And one thing that I don't think I explained properly earlier, so let me reiterate that, let me cover that again and go into more detail. This is a wired camera that is also wireless. In other words, you need to have it wired up to your household power so it can be powered up, but it transmits all the information to you wirelessly. That is why it's both wired and wireless. It basically has a downloadable app, a free app that you download onto your phone, tablet, etc. And that is where you'll get the notification of any activity that it sees. And that is how you communicate with it and how you control it as far as the light settings, timers, sensitivity, all that kind of good stuff. And this guy can also work with Alexa and Google Assistant. So when you have the app and you get it all set up, you can set it up through that app as well to work with Google Assistant, Alexa, etc. Get it all set up and you're good to go. So you have the best of both worlds going that route. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the different features that it has and show you all the different things that this guy has. Up here, obviously, the most important part is you have the 3 floodlights. And that's one of the things that I mentioned previously, that for some people, it may be very convenient if you have floodlights already installed under your eaves or anything like that. You can put this guy in the place of those floodlights. And I'll show you the mounting and stuff like that in a moment and show you how easily that can be done. So if you already have floodlights and you want a security camera, instead of having 2 things mounted, this guy will take care of both jobs for you at the same time. So the 3 big lights up here, and they are adjustable. Like you see, this guy, the one in the middle, only goes up and down, but the ones on the sides can also pan side to side and rotate and stuff like that. So you can do a lot of things with them. They are both able to shift around and move in any direction, depending how you want to point them. Right now, I just have them pointing forward because it makes it easier as far as demonstration goes. But you have a lot of flexibility with that guy. The camera down here also rotates. As you see, it's not fixed in place. It can point up and down. It says up to 20 degrees that you can move it. And it also moves from side to side up to 90 degrees in either direction. So you can pick whatever angle is best for you to get the best coverage of whatever you're looking at, front yard, backyard, etc. So here we have the 2 lenses, so you get 180 degrees of panoramic view. Right here you have your speaker, and that's where the siren comes from, and we'll be listening to that in a moment. This little guy right here is an LED indicator. This little guy right here is a light sensor, so it knows whether it's day or night. And these 2 guys here are your microphones. This little area down here is where the motion sensor is located. That way it can sense any activity going on. And let's see, looking at it from the side, there you go, that's how it looks like. And from the side, you can see you can move this guy up and down, and we'll look at it mounted in a moment. From the back, here you go, back here, under this little plastic cover, you have a reset button, and that's where you put your SD card if you want to go that route. And here is where the mounting goes. This little bracket, I'll show you that in a moment, but look at the mounting setup here for the lights. You see that you can rotate them in all sorts of directions. Very convenient as far as that goes. Gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, these little guys back here, the wiring and setup is very easy for this guy because the wires don't come out directly out of the camera. The wires hook up to the mounting plate. You hook up your mounting plate, and these guys have it set up for you very conveniently. The wires come through the mounting plate, and you can either hardwire it into your wall, or it comes ready, all set up with a plug. So you can plug it in if you want to go that route. So you have either way already set up and ready to go. So 1 screw, use the mounting hardware and hook this up to a mounting plate and electrical box if you already have that, or if you need to set it up. I leave that totally up to you. And then this guy gets mounted, but the power goes right from this guy and it hooks up to the back of this guy. And this guy slides on, the camera slides onto here, and you can either wall mount it like this is the wall, or you can ceiling mount it where you put it like this and then you slide the camera onto there. Either way, let me show you. If you do it like this little guy, these little connectors hook up to the power connector right there, and you just slip it on right through there and it plugs right in. And then you have a little screw right there just to lock it in place so it can't slip out. If you ever need to remove it, it has this little plunger right here that you press that little plunger and it slides right out. There you go. So that way you just take it right out and you can mount it any other location that you want to do. So it's very cool, very easy to mount up, very easy setup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the app, get this guy all set up on my network and so forth. Then we'll mount it outside and see what the footage looks like. Alright guys, so here we have the camera temporarily mounted inside my garage because that way we can test out a few features in here and we're going to see it outside later on. Don't worry about that. I'm going to hook it up outside and we're going to see what it looks like in the wild, in the real world, when you can see the lights outside at night, see how it looks, how it gives you the images and so forth in the daytime, in the nighttime, etc. But in here, I want to test out the lights, see exactly how bright they are in a controlled situation. And I'm going to test out the alarm as well, because I don't want to do the alarm outside, scare the neighbors, that kind of stuff. You know how that goes. So also, I have it mounted up here, and that is the way it would look like when it's ceiling mounted. You see, that's the way it looks right there. You put the mounting bracket upside down. And outside, I'll show you how it looks like wall mounted, so you can see how that guy looks. So right here, right now, let me turn off the lights and we'll test out the lights and see how they light up the garage here. And then we'll test out the siren. So let me see, I have my phone right there. Let me get this guy all ready to go and we'll go from there. So let me turn off the lights and get this guy going. My goodness, would you look at that? Look at that lighting. That is some serious bright light. My goodness. That floodlight is really, really good. It lights up the entire garage. Let me move over here so I can see a little bit better from over this side. And look at that. That little guy right there is lighting up everything. And it really powers up this garage. I am curious to see what it looks like outdoors at night when it's lighting up the backyard. So that's what it looks like as far as the lights go. That is some powerful floodlight right there. Really, really good. That is the maximum, obviously, because you want to see the most that it can look at. You can lower it down. If you think it's too bright, you can always reduce it in the menu. But I'm not going to bother with that because what you want to see is floodlighting. You want to see how bright it really is. So that's how that guy looks. Now, let me turn on the lights and go from there. Alright guys, so we're back. I turned on the lights. Let's keep on going. Now, let me turn on the siren and see exactly how that sounds. All right, there you have it. That is a pretty noisy siren. That should hopefully scare away any intruders, let them know that they're being caught on videotape and you know exactly what is going on inside the house. So that should be a pretty good deterrent between the lights and the siren to keep away intruders. So let's go see how this guy works when it's set up outdoors. Alright guys, so here we are outdoors in the middle of the day, and that way you can see what the camera looks like when you have it mounted up outdoors. And this is the wall mounted method, so you can see what it looks like when you mount it on the wall somewhere. This is what you would be looking at. And this is the control panel here. When you first open it up and you look at it, you get a small view of what's going on, and you have all your controls easily accessible right in front of you. Now you can make it a bigger view, which I'll show you in just a moment, but this is what you see here. You see the alarm, the lights, all that kind of stuff. You can record, take a picture, all that kind of good stuff. Now let's rotate the image, and there you go to a larger image. Now it's a little awkward to look at here because this is a panoramic view, and I don't have a way to make this into a panoramic video. So what you see is you see 180 degrees of coverage there. You can see from one end to the other end without having to move the camera or anything like that. This is not a PTZ camera, but you don't need it because as you can see, I can see my entire yard, and then I can pinch and zoom and move in closer if I want to see something. So here you see I'm pinching and zooming in on my phone phone, and I can move from side to side and take a much closer view if I want to do that. And you can see in the afternoon, look at how clear this picture is. It looks really, really beautiful. It's a stunning clear picture, 2K, very nice video right there. And you can see anything that you want to look at. The colors are beautiful, and then you zoom in, and it gets a little grainy when you get too far away from it, but that's the way all these cameras are. There's not much you can do about it. It's 2K, but only in the standard view, not when you zoom in. But it's still a very good, clear picture. If you're going to see someone way over there by that fence, which is about 70 or 80 feet away, you can still see very clearly. Look at that plant that I have over there. You can see it very clearly right there. If a person was standing there, it would not be a problem identifying it. Now, when you zoom back out, you see exactly how far that really is. Now, let's come back at night and see what this looks like. Alright guys, so here we are. I'm standing outdoors, and I'm standing right by my kitchen right here. I have some lights behind me, but you see that there's no light in the backyard whatsoever. It is pitch black. I'm panning from one end to the other, so you can see that there's not a single light in this backyard at all. That little green light that I'm going to look at right now, that is the camera. That little green light right there in the corner, that's the camera right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the lights right now, and we're going to see exactly how strong they are. And there you go. Look at that. That is some serious floodlight. 3,000 lumens right there. That really lights up everything very nicely. And I'm going to pan right now. You can see everything in the backyard all the way to that fence over there, about 70, 80 feet away, something like that. And you can see exactly how far that is. Now, in a moment, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to look at all this footage through the app itself, and you're going to see how it looks. But right here, I wanted you to be able to see how much light this floodlight could really produce. Now, here we are indoors looking through the app again, and this is with the lights off and color night vision. And you can see I was standing right in front of that window right there where the kitchen is, and the lights are on. So I needed a little light so I wouldn't stumble and fall, and I could see what I was doing. But you saw how dark it was, and the camera still makes it look really, really good without any lighting whatsoever, just the ambient lighting. It really takes full advantage of any light that is available. So in a moment, I'm going to turn on the lights, the floodlights, and that way we'll light up the whole yard and we'll see how well this looks. But this is with just moonlight and the light coming from those windows right there. It's really having a nice picture. So right now I'm going to turn on the lights, and there you go. Look at that. That is the floodlight camera. When it turns on all the lights, the 3,000 lumens, it tells you exactly right there how well it lights up everything. So this camera does really a great job. I mean, for minimal expense right there, this camera did really a fantastic job. If you're looking for a floodlight security camera and you want to have something that will really light up your yard, keep intruders away, and use the siren if you want to do that, I think this camera does a great job. Check out the Amazon links down below if you want to get more details. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye for now.